everybody, this is Money Mom. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about 8 time-saving Thanksgiving hacks. Let's get started. And these little tips that I'm going to give are ones I'm using. And number 6, I've not read or heard from any list, and it's my favorite that I'm actually doing this year, and I've never done it before. Let me get started with number 1, and I'll also want to hear some tips from you. But number 6 is my favorite, so please make sure to listen to that one because I think some of you may want to use this tip. The first tip for saving on Thanksgiving, if you're preparing a Thanksgiving meal or any nice meal, it doesn't have to be Thanksgiving, it could be for any holiday meal, or if you're just having family members over for a birthday meal, whatever, anything like that. First thing is, decide on your menu what you're going to eat. And with that, you'll want to talk to family members and find out what their favorites are, because you may have, say, 1 meat dish, and you might have 2 salads, 4 side dishes, rolls, 2 desserts, and you may decide after all that, hey, you know what? Only 1 family member likes this particular salad. Only 1 family member likes this particular dessert. So you may decide on going with a smaller menu. So number 1, decide on your menu first and make sure it's okay with everyone that is going to be eating the food. Number 2, and this is something my mom did, don't be afraid to take some shortcuts, and I'm going to give you an example. She used to make box stuffing. I know a lot of people think, well, homemade stuffing is a lot better, and I understand that. But she used to make, you know, I guess you would call it stuffing, dressing, but she would take it from the box. But what she would do is she would make many things homemade, but not everything she made was homemade. She would take something like a box mix and, quote, as she would call it, doctor it up. So she made, you know, take some onions on the side and different seasonings and do different types of, you know, things with it to make it better than what it is. Maybe put some chopped apples in there or some, you know, nuts, some grilled onions, things like that to make it more flavorful and enhance it. So she would take shortcuts. Another thing that I do, and I know I've mentioned this, when I go grocery shopping at Kroger, they have onions that are already pre-chopped in a bag and peppers. I know it sounds silly, but I buy those because actually I'm saving money rather than buying onions or peppers and having to do it myself. It saves me time and it actually saves me money because I don't use that much of it. So that's one thing. So don't be afraid to take shortcuts, and not everything has to be made from complete scratch. You can actually doctor it up. I know you've seen cake mixes before where they can make a box cake taste like homemade. So think about that. Number 3, cook and freeze ahead. I do some cooking ahead. I actually spend the Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, or the day before Christmas making a lot of things. And you can even freeze certain things and make it ahead. That way you're not doing everything at once. Number 5, buy some things pre-made. For example, I know some folks that there's a lot of things they love to make from scratch, but there's some things they don't. For example, one thing, and I tried it once, it just didn't turn out that great. I made a lemon meringue pie, and the meringue part didn't turn out very good. So guess what? I buy a Marie Callender lemon meringue pie. It's delicious. My husband loves it. And so I do buy some pre-made things. Most of the things I make for homemade, but there are some things that I occasionally buy that are pre-made. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of them are just as good as homemade. Number 6, this is the biggest tip that I've been waiting to tell you. Many of you are wondering what this is. Let me tell you what happens every year at Thanksgiving. Many times what happens is I think, oh, I need to get this ingredient out. You know, my pantry's kind of dark even though I turn the lights on, and I'm looking around for the gravy packets, or I'm looking around for vegetables, or, you know, whatever I need, the condensed milk, the evaporated milk, and I'm digging around and I'm looking for all this stuff and putting it out. Well, guess what I did? I took a lot of the ingredients that I know I'll be using at Thanksgiving, and I've already set it aside in this little, what you would call basket, or whatever you would want to call this container, and I have it set aside, and I'm putting this off to the side over in my living room in the corner. It's not hurting anything there. And this way, when I go to make my items, I know that I have the ingredients right here. Because there's been times where I think I have something, and I don't, and my husband has to run out last minute and get it because I'm in the middle of cooking something. He doesn't enjoy that, and that's happened quite often over the years. So this way, if you know you're going to make the things, like in here I've got green beans, I've got, you know, French fried onions, I have cornbread, I have gravy, I have a can of pumpkin, foil. I mean, these are just a few things off the top of my head. I've got them already ready to go in here. And like I said, I won't have to go hunting or digging around, or it's not hidden in my pantry somewhere. So that's my biggest tip. Number 7, think about some things that you can just skip making. For example, I grew up having a relish tray every year. Guess what? Nobody in my family really eats that much off the relish tray, so I no longer have it. It's an expense you don't have. So think about the things every year that nobody really eats and you end up having to throw away, and maybe don't make those this year. Last but not least, have your recipes ready. I've got a book called My Favorite Recipes. Some of our favorite family recipes are written in this book, so I've already got my recipes ready to go, so I'm not having to dig around for it. Also, I have my holiday budget book, which is here, which I write my menu and my holiday budget already set to go here. So this way I'm organized and planned and ready to go for the holidays. I want to know from you, if you make a holiday meal or any big meal, even if it's not the holiday, tell me some time-saving tips you have. I want to hear from you. That's all for now. This is Money Mom signing off, and as always, I love you. Bye-bye.